Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. Now, each week we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm your host, Barry. Now, today we're lucky enough to have a remarkable guest joining us, Ricardo Santos, who is a co-founder and CTO at AssetFloow. Hello, Ricardo. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you very much for the invitation.
No problem. It's a pleasure. How are you doing today?
I'm great. You as well?
Perfect. Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Just tell you about the great weather that you were having in Portugal in comparison to the one that we have in the UK. So it's no wonder you're happy and smiling. Firstly, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with us. And just to start off, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company that you work for?
I'm Ricardo from AssetFloow. My background is in artificial intelligence. I was a researcher since my second year in college, a paid researcher. Then I have the opportunity to receive an invitation to do a PhD in UK. Even without doing the master degree, I refused because I want to build my own company. So I stay in Portugal. I do my master degree in Portugal. I create my first company in video analytics that lasts for 5 years. Now on my second company, AssetFloow, that is more focused on human behavior analysis using artificial intelligence.
Really interesting. So was it something that you always knew that you wanted to do, to set up your own company, or did you kind of just accidentally fall into that?
When I start doing research on second year in college, I was very excited by doing this path. And when I received the invitation to do a PhD without doing the master degree, I was so exciting. I believe I even cry of happiness. But I then realized how bad the salaries are for researcher. Even in UK, it was very good in UK. It was 10 times bigger than in Portugal back then with all the benefits. But it was not enough. I want to have a comfortable life, and having that life far away from my family in Portugal, it was difficult. So I made that decision that if I create my own company, I want to build things by my own. I can do that in research or in a company. I cannot do that by working to other existing company. So that was the only path that I saw that was feasible for me, which was creating my own company.
And when you were starting to set up your own company, did you get any support, or did you kind of go in blind and just trial and error?
I was very lucky in my first years of research because I won awards that up to 60K in money. So that allowed me to establish in Lisbon. I'm originally from Porto, in north of Portugal. So I was able to establish in Lisbon, which everything happens in Lisbon in Portugal, create the company. Then we had our first customer that allowed us to have an office space, hire more people. So my first company was really just completely bootstrapped, that allowed me to learn a lot about the entrepreneurship, basically.
And what was it in particular that really excited you? So you mentioned that you had a lot of enjoyment and excitement. What was it particularly about this particular field that excited you?
I believe it was because it's not something that you learn in school. Right now, you can learn that there are some universities that are teaching artificial intelligence, the new type of artificial intelligence that goes with deep learning. But back then, it was the old school artificial intelligence, machine learning, the ones that was used in games. So doing something that almost no one else was doing, something that we have a complete open field. It is very exciting. Back then, when I was doing video analytics in my company, there was not much competition. It was very difficult to find customers that were willing to use their surveillance cameras with artificial intelligence to on their own spaces. So it was challenging, but that was what I was looking for.
Is that something that you find to be kind of very common? There's a general pushback about using artificial intelligence and embracing the advantages. Are people still quite skeptical about this new technology?
Definitely, yeah, because the reality, and a lot of companies say this, which I think it's a lie. Artificial intelligence replace humans. That's the truth. That's why it's called artificial intelligence, not called anything else. It's replacing human intelligence. It always use data that can breach security or breach privacy. So In the beginning, it was very challenging. Of course, right now, when we use ChatGPT, for example, we are really giving all our information, and it needs data from everything else. So we are now much more open to this type of technologies. But the reality is, artificial intelligence replace humans on their work. That's the reason why it was created in the first place.
So could you just share some key moments in your career that played like a crucial role in preparing you for the role of co-founder and CTO of AssetFloow?
I do not have a beautiful story. I always hear people with a cause effect on their story. Like, I suffer in the beginning, and this is where I am right now. I'm just an ambitious person. I believe right now, for example, just to give you a very direct and very honest example, I have offers from, for example, Huawei in Ireland. For I did job interviews, and their salary for me will be 10 times bigger than what I receive today. Why I'm doing this? I'm doing this because I believe that even if I'm not receiving the best salary that I could possibly earn right now, I believe that I will compensate that in the future by selling the company or making our company so big that will compensate that. So it's really these ambitions that I can do something even bigger. It's not about the present, it's about the future, really. So I do not have anything that grabs me today besides imagine a better future. That's the only thing.
Perfect. What about your company kind of makes it stand out from the competition? What do you do differently?
I always try to challenge. Since I'm building this company, I can challenge what exists today. And very recently, our models were able to outperform the models of Amazon, Meta, and Google, and other forecast models. That's the reason why I do this. I like to challenge what people might see as impossible. If myself can build an algorithm that is better than the teams from Google and Meta that have millions on their disposal, that's very challenging. You know, that's the future that I just told you about. I believe what I'm building now will bring a lot of value in the future. When I start doing this, of course, a lot of people didn't believe it. It's impossible that you can, that investors, for example, they always ask, why you and not Google doing this? Why that question, right? Why this mentality that money buys intelligence, right? I believe I'm an intelligent person, but for some reason, other people will see like you do not have the money as Google has, so you will never do something that they can do. That's not true. That's not true. And I believe I want to prove that is completely wrong.
And how do you keep up to date with the latest developments, especially considering like the rapid pace of change within the industry?
Everything evolves very, very fast. That's if I do something today, in 1 month, other competitors, big ones, big companies, or even startups will appear. But that's what makes everything way more interesting. That's this game of always be on top of the market.
And can you outline your primary focal points about any ongoing projects or endeavors currently?
We are very focused on general artificial intelligence, with the focus that these companies with large language models are not focusing on. Right now, you can use ChatGPT to have a conversation about the past, about something that already existed. So basically, it's learning from everything from the past to give you answers for you to learn with something that already happened. And AssetFloow is more focused on the future. We basically we are creating models that can model human behavior and describe what's going to happen in the future. And this is way more powerful, because today when you try to learn what happened in the past, it's always with the focus to make decisions about the future. What if you can just have a conversation about the future? And this is a problem that affects every single market. Energy market, when you are buying your prices on the energy, is based on the forecast that the energy companies did. When you go to the supermarket, the availability of the products, it depends on the forecast that those companies also did. So everything is based on forecast, and today they simply don't work. And this is a completely open field. And by us today, AssetFloow being on top of that, it opens a lot of opportunities for us. Today, we only work in retail, but now we are expanding for insurance, for finance, for mobility, different markets, because that's an opportunity now.
Perfect. And since we're talking about the future, for yourself and your company, do you have stages of growth and stabilization, or are you always in the growth phase?
I believe right now we are on a growth phase, right? So we raised 1.5 million euros last year, and we are going to keep raising money because we intend to grow the company as much as we can. We are on that startup phase that it's very common, because like you mentioned, we right now we can't stop now, because when we announced that we are the most accurate forecast in the world, I believe that now are some startup in completely different country or big company now trying to achieve the same. So we cannot stop right now, and we need to get on most markets as possible. So it creates this barrier for other companies to enter, other competitors to enter.
So we talked quite a bit about your company. So let's talk a little bit about you now. What kind of qualities do you have that make you an effective co-founder and CTO?
I'm a very creative person. So I'm an engineer, but also creative. I do not like to follow the if there is a challenge for me, an engineering challenge, I'm not going to look for libraries like already exist. I'm not going to use what already exists. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I decided to go away from the academia, and I don't believe in academia. I don't believe in how the science works today. There is a lot of papers, there is a lot of patents, but mostly about the articles, the scientific articles. They do not have any value, the majority of them, the big majority of them. Because when you do a research as a researcher, when you do some work on that, you work on top of other research paper that exists, and you don't go deeper on that. You don't really understand the results, and you do not create a baseline for you to actually create on top of the things that you are mentioning on your research. So that means every single error that exists on this science, you are just creating more and more errors because there is no baseline. So I don't believe I when I solve an engineering challenge, I never go to see what exists in the past. I always assume everything is wrong, because if I start to dig deep on the everything that was done before, it will create a bias on my brain, and I will follow because I will assume, oh, this is true because everyone is saying this is true. All the results, 99%, it's everything, and then I'll fall on the same mistake over and over. So that's the first thing that I do, and all the data science that work in AssetFloow, I do the same. Never see what exists. Tell me in the most creative way, how would you solve this problem? And let's try to do this. And then we try to optimize, because if we do something from scratch, it's going to be slow. It's not going to be optimal. But at least we have some mental process how to solve that problem without looking what others have done.
And how do you stay motivated and inspired, especially like when the journey feels particularly challenging or demanding?
I'm doing something that I didn't before on the last company. The last company I did with a friend. This company I'm doing with my wife. So the challenge, we bring the problems in the office to the. I'm not going to say problem because I'll say challenge, because I like this either way. I don't see that as a problem. I see the company as an object, right? This is an object to bring money to everyone involved, to the workers, to the shareholders, for everyone. This is not a baby. This is not our baby. We have children, and I'm not going to place our children on the same level as the company. But it is a motivation because it's not just me. So it brings a human side to the company. I'm doing this for her. She's doing this for me as well. So it eliminates a little bit this capitalism involved in because we have shareholders, and it's very bureaucratic right now. So this brings a human level to this experience.
And with working so closely with your family into your business, do you find it difficult to detach from business and your personal life, or do you draw very clear divisions between the two?
Oh, definitely. She is the CEO of the company. She's more responsible for sales, the strategy. I'm more responsible for the product itself as a CTO. And as a person, I respect everyone. I respect the even the personal life of our workers. We always try to come up with something. They have kids, they have animals, they want to work remotely sometimes. So if there is respect as professionally respect, it's not going to damage our personal relationship. It's just a normal conversation that we have as a professional or personal.
And do you keep that work-life balance, or do you find that you find yourself working constantly all the time without breaks?
We try to avoid that for sure. We try to have the same working schedule as our collaborators. So we try to have this line on the weekends. We don't work because that's important to have this separation for us personally, even to be creative. Both of us, the CEO and the CTO, we need to be creative in different manners of the company, and we can only achieve that if we rest and time to completely disconnect from the company. That's the only way.
So you've talked a little bit about the dynamics within your team. How do you navigate like challenges of working together towards a common goal, especially if people have varying opinions on the correct direction of that goal?
That's challenge for sure. It's always have the respect as a baseline. When we, as a company, we need to work to the same goal, and the same goal is the company grows, all of us grow, our salaries increase, the company increases size, the conditions will also be better. So everyone wants. If everyone is aligned with that goal, and put always at least during the working hours, the priority is as a team instead of us personally. If everyone can see that, the problem is solved.
Amazing. And when we're talking about team members, what kind of qualities do you look for in potential team members?
Their ability to learn, for sure, learn fast. For example, we have a person from our team that exists from the very beginning of the company. He's been increasing in positions inside the company, and he went directly from the university to our company. So it was completely junior, but he learned so fast, and because he was so interested to become what he intended to become. We have other person that has a background in UI UX design, but then she learned by itself to code, and is a front end in our company. So we can give this opportunity for people that is starting on what they want to do. But if we feel that they have this passion, that's even better than people that are completely senior, that have a very focused line of work. These people that are more adaptive are way better to join at least a startup. It's better.
And are there like any books, podcasts, documentaries, or people that have had a significant impact on the way that you think or on your own personal development?
I really, what's the name of them? Well, I listen to podcasts all the time, for sure. But it's more like news. But I read a book about negotiation. I have to see what is. I'm not recalling the name. I think the School of Negotiation. I don't remember the author. A book that actually teach me how to negotiate. It's so important to learn how to negotiate. Because I see a lot of books about the Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. I also read those. They are great, but don't teach you exactly how to navigate the real world. And the real world is people are always going to take advantage of you in a way or the other, right? I'm talking about the professional one. Even if it is your boss or your worker that works with you, but wants to also grow in the company. So you really need to learn how to negotiate, and by negotiate I mean how to understand the intention of the person in front of you when you are dealing with that person. Understand the motivations of that person and try to manipulate in a way that you are not going to be damaged. And that book was so real. It really grabbed things that happen on my daily basis when I'm dealing with customers, because our customers are for sure way bigger than our company. We deal with retailers that have thousands and thousands of workers. So the way they deal with companies like ours, they deal with a little bit of bullying. They always try to to get something for free or get something and make you feel small so they can get what they want. And you need to really know how to negotiate because in the end, they know how valuable we are.
Perfect, lovely. Yeah, do email us and keep us in contact, and we'll definitely put it in the video so that we can see what that book is. 'Cause I'm really excited to see what it is actually. Sounds like something quite interesting, because I think that's something that we can also apply to our own personal journeys outside, because navigating conflicts and trying to have successful resolutions is important in the world of business, but also in your own personal life as well. We are coming towards the end of the interview, but there's one more question that I would like to ask, especially based on the fact that you are an entrepreneur yourself. If there's someone out there who's thinking like, oh, I'd like to do a business for myself, I'd like to go into business for myself, and they maybe have some doubts, what kind of advice would you give them, or what do you recommend that those kind of people do before starting their own business?
That's a challenge, because for sure that when you are creating a company, it's the luck itself plays a very, very important role. For example, when you are trying to get a customer that will pay you 100K, you can come up in second because they choose other one because of a very small thing that it will change completely the direction of your company. It was a very big contract that you lost. You come up in second, for example. So luck plays a very important role. But I will say that the most important thing that you should do when you are doing this is be surrounded by people that are influential, not mentors, advisors that will grab and with advice. You don't want advice. You want people that do stuff. If you're going to get a mentor or advisor, get someone that will do stuff for you, that will introduce you to people that will make things go forward. You do not need advice, you need actions. So be surrounded by that. You can, for example, join an accelerator that is very with a very good name, for example, or have investors that really care and they will work for the company as well. So be surrounded by people that will do something.
Amazing advice. That's really good. Thank you for sharing that with us. Absolute gold. So I just want to thank you again for talking with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
That was Ricardo Santos, who is co-founder and CTO at AssetFloow.